When Sophie opened her eyes, it felt as if all the light in the universe began to assault them. At least, that's how it seemed to Sophie. She grimaced and shielded her eyes with her hand. Now the taste of rust in her mouth started to steal the show from the discomfort of the light. As if wanting to escape the rivalry of these two demons, she suddenly sat up, held her head, and searched for a path on her bedroom floor to go to the kitchen. She stood by the coffee machine, waiting, and stared blankly at the kitchen counter for a while, her brain and thoughtless mind adrift. The readiness of her coffee brought her back to reality, and she started checking the notifications on her phone. The only thing that stood out was a notification from Elara. Taking a sip of her steaming, strong black coffee, she opened the email on her MacBook on the kitchen table. Elara didn't seem to have put much effort into the subject of the email. Just a single period and no explanation in the body of the email either. An attached audio file and zero information about its content, she thought to herself. The sending time of the email also caught Sophie's attention, 3:07 a.m. Sophie checked the time in the bottom right corner of her screen, 11:27. Having never been in the habit of emailing Elara, this message started to occupy Sophie's mind heavily. She took out her phone and called Elara. Why would she email at 3 in the morning instead of calling or texting me? She asked herself. She hung up on the automated voice that said, "The wireless customer you are calling is not available," and started downloading the audio file. When she played the file, she heard nothing, so she checked the time bar to see if the player was actually running. The recording was so silent that she felt the sounds in her own room begin to be absorbed. An inexplicable wave of unease and restlessness had settled over her home. She involuntarily started to focus on the silence, to feel it. "Sophie, I need help." Elara's scream from the recording made Sophie leap to her feet, coffee splashing everywhere. Cursing, she reached for a paper towel, but as her mind fully registered Elara's plea, the recording became her only focus. "You have to call the police. I'm trapped at work. Something is after me. Please, you know the address. Call the police as soon as you get this, and don't you dare come yourself. I hope I can hold on. I can. If I don't look at the picture again, I think it'll stop chasing me. The smell of rotten strawberries isn't here. I'm safe. Sophie, listen to me. Do not come here. This place is dangerous, okay? I can't reach anyone. I'm attaching this to an email, hoping I can find a signal somewhere. You're my only hope right now. Tell the police I'm on floor B4, okay? Damn it, I can't hear myself over this noise. Sophie, West Wing, B4. Please help me." The recording ended. Sophie stared at the screen, her face a blank mask, her eyes so wide they would have terrified anyone who saw them. She immediately Googled the address for the Dawson Archive and dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? "My sister. She sent a message. She said she's in danger. Someone is chasing her at work." The words tumbled out of her, unthinking, phrased to sound as normal as possible. "Where does your sister work?" "The Dawson Archive, 11 Clark Street." "Did your sister mention who was after her, or how many?" "No, she was panicking. She couldn't give details. Please, you have to help." "Mom, I've dispatched a unit. They'll be on site in approximately 10 minutes. Sophie grabbed her bag and keys with lightning speed and hung up. If she hadn't found a cab, the energy from her fear could have carried her there on foot. It didn't have to. Leaping out of the taxi, she threw a crumpled bill from her wallet onto the front seat. As her feet hit the pavement, a squad car pulled up to the curb. Sophie ran toward it like a madwoman, arms raised. "I called you. I'm here. I'm the one who called," she screamed, sprinting toward the car. Before she could reach it, the officers stepped out, sternly warning her to stop. "Please, you have to listen to me. I'm the one who called. My sister is in danger in there," Sophie pleaded, tears starting to stream down her face. The scene caught the attention of the security guard at the front door. He watched the strange woman yelling at the police with a single raised eyebrow, trying to make sense of the drama. "Ma'am, did your sister tell you where in the building she was?" Yes, yes, Sophie said, sniffling, trying to choke back her sobs. B4, West Wing. Excuse me, officer. The security guard had decided it was time to step in. Is there a problem? Who are you looking for? Sophie cut in immediately. Elara Grace. We're looking for her. She's in danger. I'm afraid there's a misunderstanding, Mom. Miss Grace isn't in the building. I don't recall seeing her come in this morning. Not this morning. Last night. She sent me a recording. She's trapped on B4, West Wing. B4? The guard repeated, his eyes narrowing in confusion. The officer, wanting to regain control, cut the dialogue short. Ma'am, I need you to step back and let us do our work. Wait out here. He turned to the guard. You, take us to B4 and get your supervisor down here, now. Officer, there's only one basement level in this building. What do you mean B4? Sophie saw the officer's questioning gaze land on her. The email, she thought. Look, she said, pulling up the email on her phone. The recording is right here. As it downloaded, the other officer asked, his voice laced with skepticism. Your sister was being chased, and she decided to email you a recording. An inexplicable wave of dread seemed to wash over all of them. The recording began. They listened with a shared, tense focus. What's your supervisor's name? The first officer asked the guard. The guard, as if waking from a dream, answered, Eric Barton, sir. Then why isn't he here? We have a priority call regarding this location. Do you not understand the gravity of the situation? The officer's sharp tone snapped the guard to attention. I'll get him right away, sir. A few minutes later, Barton approached with brisk steps, extending a hand. Gentlemen, Eric Barton. The officers shook it in turn. Officer Fisher. Officer McKinney. McKinney got straight to the point. Mr. Barton, an employee here, Elara Grace, sent a recording to her sister claiming to be in danger. She states she's on floor B4, West Wing, but your man here says that floor doesn't exist. Can you shed some light on that for us? He's correct, officer. There's only one basement level. Miss Grace's office is down there, but we've had no security alerts. None of my guards have reported any incidents. It's confusing. I have no idea why Miss Grace would call for help and give you the location of a floor that doesn't exist. That's what we're trying to figure out, McKinney said, then turned to his partner. I'll check security footage, entry and exit logs. You search her office. I'm also calling this in for a wider search. We might need more men here. Sophie watched them with terrified eyes. Not her desk, you fools, B4, she thought. A growing, sickening certainty that they wouldn't find her began to creep through her. Miss Grace, you wait here, Fisher said, turning to her. Sophie couldn't bear to wait. She had to know what was happening. Elara couldn't be trapped in a place that didn't exist. That security chief Barton, he was definitely hiding something. She wouldn't let him fool the police. The floor was real and she was going to find it. Please, let me come with you. I know her. Maybe I can help. Please, she insisted. Look, in the recording, Elara says her phone has no signal, but I talk to her on her cell all the time. Her phone works in the basement. That means she must have gone deeper, right? It's the only logical explanation. Please, just let me see for myself. Sophie saw a strange hardness in the officer's eyes. My sister is missing. Of course I'm going to look for her. McKinney glanced down, then looked hesitantly at his partner before his eyes met Sophie's again. Stay with Officer Fisher. Don't get in his way. Fisher, let's move. It was a victory, and for the first time that day, Sophie felt a flicker of hope. She knew Elara was here, and she would find her. Thank you, she said. Thank you so much. They descended to Elara's office with Fisher and a guard Barton had assigned them. The desk was immaculate, few items, perfect symmetry, the polar opposite of Sophie. The only thing askew was a framed photo of Elara, Sophie, and their mother. She picked it up, her mind racing with how she would ever tell her mom. "Don't touch anything," Fisher warned sharply, "unless you want to destroy potential evidence." "Sorry," Sophie mumbled, feeling foolish and ashamed. She was constantly being reminded that she was in the way, yet she couldn't stop drawing attention to herself. "We'll check fire escapes, stairwells, any elevator besides the one we just used," Fisher announced. "There are none, sir, I assure you," the guard interjected. Fisher shot him a look. "We'll speak with the other employees later." B4, West Wing, could be departmental slang for something down here. Sophie was impressed by his thorough, determined approach. "You're with me," he said to the guard. "Show me the layout." Then to Sophie, "You wait here until I get back. And don't leave this room. If you feel you're in any danger, there's a fire alarm right there. Press it and I'll be back instantly." "Okay," she agreed. With Fisher and the guard gone, Sophie had the opportunity she'd been waiting for. She started her own search. She checked every drawer, every cabinet, but found nothing useful. Disappointed, she considered slipping out to look around when a small trash can caught her eye. "What's the harm?" she thought. Peeking inside, she saw a crumpled piece of paper. On it were the words, "Instructions for the night shift." As she began to read, she wondered if it was some kind of sick joke. The instructions were printed on heavy, high-quality cardstock, nothing like the cheap paper used in the office. It hadn't come from a normal printer either. The letters were pressed into the paper, raised and indented like a stamp. The list read, "Rule 1. Never take the elevator at 2:30 a.m. Rule 2. If the elevator takes you to the lower floors, never get off at B4. Sophie felt like she'd been shot. What the hell was this? A prank? An elevator that goes to non-existent floors at 2:30 in the morning? How? If she showed this to Fisher, he'd be convinced she and her sister were both insane. But she couldn't have brought it in herself. Her only option was to show it to him. She'd take the risk. She read on. Rule 3. If you smell rotten strawberries, do not enter a room you haven't been in before. Rule 4. If you notice a portrait on the walls you haven't seen before, do not look at it for long. If you look at it for long, it will begin to look back at you. Rule 5. Do not leave the night shift before 6 a.m. Rule 6. If a loud noise erupts in your room, return to your office immediately. Rule 7. If you find documents in a language you do not recognize, report it to your supervisor at once. Leave the documents exactly where you found them. This is the most important rule to follow. That was it. Proof of madness, right in her hands. She examined the paper again. The rules, and in the top right corner, an embossed logo, an owl and a snake eating its own tail. She sank to the floor next to Elara's desk, clutching the family photo. "Elara, what did you get yourself into?" she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. When Fisher returned, he found her on the floor, staring at the photo. "I told you not to touch anything." Dazed, she looked up at him. "Did you find her?" "No. We're heading up to McKinney. Your sister signed in yesterday morning, but there's no record of her leaving. Not on camera, not in the system logs, which means she could still be in the building. A detective has been assigned. Normally, that wouldn't happen until after we filed our initial report. It's unusual, but lucky for you. Things are moving fast. What's that in your hand?" "I found it in the trash," Sophie said, handing him the paper. "It's a weird list. It mentions floor B4. She was certain he'd dismiss it as nonsense. That's why she'd snapped a photo of it before he returned. Without that picture, she thought, I'd never see this again. Sophie could see Fisher's face flush with irritation, but she just watched him with empty eyes. He took the paper without a word. He ran his fingers over the cardstock, feeling its texture. "An owl and a snake," he murmured. With a cynical squint, he read the list. "We're going to see McKinney. The company owner is with him. He wants to speak with you, if you're willing, of course." Sophie gave a slight nod and got to her feet. She looked at the photo, stroking Elara's face with her thumb. "I will find you," she said quietly, and placed the frame back on the desk. Without another word, she followed Fisher. Everything she had seen, heard, and felt since waking up had left her mentally shattered. McKinney was speaking with another officer outside a large executive office. "What do you have, Fisher?" he asked. "Not much. Just this bizarre list of instructions Ms. Grace found. It mentions B4, but I'm warning you, the contents are seriously strange." McKinney read the list, a smirk on his face. "You're right, this is bizarre. But it's Donovan's case now. We'll pass it along to him." "What's that?" Caleb Goodwin interjected, stepping forward. "Mr. Goodwin, this is a list of instructions Ms. Grace found," Fisher explained. "Ah, then you must be Sophie, Elara's sister. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Caleb Goodwin, the owner of this company. I have no idea where Elara is, but I assure you we are cooperating fully with the police. And I am praying to God she is found soon." "Mr. Goodwin," Sophie said, her voice steady, "Officer McKinney has found no record of Elara leaving, not on camera or through the turnstiles. If Elara didn't leave, where is she? As the owner, you know this building better than anyone." "That is the question, isn't it, Miss Grace? And if I knew the answer, we would have found her by now. The only possibility that comes to mind is the fire escape. We don't have a camera on that exit. But as for why Elara would use that door instead of the main entrance, I'm afraid I don't have an answer for that either." Just as Sophie was about to respond, Detective Donovan walked in. Fisher gave him a slight nod in Sophie's direction. "Hello, you must be Sophie Grace. I understand you have a recording of your sister's call for help. You'll need to come down to the station to give a formal statement and provide us with that file." "My sister is in this building," Sophie insisted, "and I'm not going anywhere until she's found." She could see the police were making an effort, but it was incomprehensible to her how they could fail to find someone inside a single building. She didn't buy that fire escape nonsense for a second. "Officers, please escort Miss Grace out." Fisher took her arm. "This way, Miss Grace." Sophie instinctively tried to pull away, but his grip was firm. "Let go of me," she yelled, struggling, and McKinney grabbed her other arm. The officers were no longer speaking. They were simply dragging her toward the exit. Sophie's shouts echoed through the halls. "She's here! Do you hear me? Elara is here. What did you do to her?" Employees poured into the corridors. Those who didn't know what was happening whispered questions, trying to piece it together. Others simply raised their phones and started recording. When they were all gone, Detective Donovan turned to Goodwin. His voice was low and cold. "All right, Goodwin. What the hell is going on here? What is this mess?"